Welcome to another episode of Psychotronic Coast to Coast. And this episode kicks off a series of films that we will undoubtedly record out of order in our summer series. So this is the first of a series of double bills on summer movies, summer camps, or films that take place during the summer, or who knows what else. And this week's entry is Summer Camp Nightmare. And this movie's got pedigree, folks. We've got Adam Carl, who plays Derek in the Monster Squad. We've got Burt L. Dragon, who also did a movie called Twice Dead, which is right here released by Shout Factory, with the Evil. It's actually a pretty decent double bill. I did a review for these on geeky.com. This was co-written by Burt L. Dragon and Penelope Spheris, who's known for The Decline of Western Civilizations, Part 1, 2, and 3, Suburbia, Dudes, Wayne's World, Little Rascals, Beverly Hillbillies, Black Sheep. I mean, it's got pedigree behind it. So, and I will tell you right now, I saw the trailer for this, and I did not think I was going to like it, and boy, I was friggin' wrong. This was awesome. And with that, my co-host here is going to take it away.
All right. So this movie's kind of weird because it starts out as a really normal summer camp movie.
Right.
Bus shows up. Kids start getting off. We start introducing to the characters. The only one I really remember is the nerdy kid they call him Duck. Donald Duck.
Donald Poultry. That's why his name is Duck.
I think there was a Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin. Yeah.
He was like the main kind of weird guy. You see him do some weird things a little later. There's a punk. Crunk the punk. Runk the punk.
Is he not on this list?
He's kind of a a-hole.
Oh, Stanley Runk. There he is. Stanley Runk. Yes. Runk the Punk.
Yeah, there's some more
Runk
too.
the Punk is apparently a random student in the movie Vamp, which we should probably watch at some point.
And yeah, it starts off pretty standard. They get off the bus, they play some football, they do some swimming, they meet the new owner.
I would like to point out that while there's a swimming sequence, and the one and Donald doesn't know how to Duck, we'll call him, doesn't know how to swim. So they start teaching him how to swim, and at some point the two counselors, one's drinking and one's like talking to a hot chick, the hot nurse.
The nurse.
It's the setup for Friday the 13th, and you're thinking, oh my God, is this where it's going to turn into a horror movie, right? Because the trailer kind of makes it feel like it's kind of a horror movie, just a little bit. You're like, oh no, it's going to be a horror movie, isn't it? It's going to be a bad horror movie. But so you're like, oh no, are they doing a callback here? No. Which is an interesting reference to Friday the 13th, that's all.
Yeah, he made Duck come out of the water to show the nurse's rasp. So he just like bends over in front of her, and he can't swim, but she's like, it's just a heat rash. He's fine, and he just bolts back into the water and then just starts sinking.
I know. He just runs right back in the water. I'm like, really? Are you sure about that, kid? Like,
and it was Franklin, right? That's the
Franklin is
guy.
The one reading the book. Yeah.
He's just watching him sink, and he's got like this creepy ass smile on his face. But he ends up jumping in and saving him, and then says a smart ass comment about how he was doing the counselor's jobs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's humanizing him. He means well by his actions. All his actions are from a well-being place. So, I'm not going to give any spoilers.
And we meet the new owner, who is kind of a weird-looking guy. He's obsessed with butterflies and religious stuff.
He's very religious. In fact, he set the TV to only play religious television. You can't change the channel off the religious sermon channel, essentially. So,
yeah. So they have a talent show, and the girls' camp comes over.
And of course, the black kid's rapping. Of course. only black kid in the movie. He's got a rap, right? Fucking Christ.
He also plays the drums for
He
the
does.
song you loved.
Yes.
Want to tell him about the song?
My beef bologna or whatever. Oh my god, that's fucking great.
Which
There's a song. There are 2 songs in this movie. One of them is like a weird poppy, like Madonna type thing, and with 3 pop singer dressed up girls, and the other one is this weird rock song about this dude's beef bologna, and I want it as a ringtone. I want it as a ringtone so bad. So.
Yeah, and that shuts down the show. The religious camp owner's like, nah, that is disgusting. And not only does he shut down that show, he says no girl-boy dance, none. It's done.
Yeah, because it's sinful. Everything's because it's sinful, of course.
Yeah, and then the real tipping point is they get on the roof and they hack the box to show girls in lingerie dancing. I guess it's the closest to porn they're gonna get. And he comes in and he locks one of the kids away in a pen. They call it the pen or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And that's kind of the tipping point of where the movie starts turning from kind of a sort of comedy summer camp movie.
It starts out like a pretty solid, like generic 80s camp comedy. It's like the whole Meatballs / fucking Ernest Goes to Camp. It's like it's all those movies, man. It's like all of those. It's what it feels like.
A bunch of horny kids that want to get to the girls' summer camp type setup.
35 minutes, your first like real dark hint starts creeping in.
Yes. Franklin sees a little kid crying. I believe it was Franklin, right?
Yes, I believe it was Franklin.
Yes, Franklin, because then the punk comes in later. But he starts talking to him, and it's hinting at that the new owner is a pedophile. We never find out one way or another.
Well, the kid's talking about how, like, the counselor, who's played by Chuck Connors, by the way, is Mr. Warren, weird Mr. Warren. Chuck Connors, you'll remember from, I don't know, fucking Branded, Soylent Green, The Rifleman, things like that. Apparently, Chuck Connors, a.k.a. Mr. Warren, is holding up this kid and the kid's afraid of heights and is afraid of being held up, and he's forcing him to look at his like higher up butterfly collection, and I guess he wet himself, and that's what happened. But the kid's so embarrassed, he's hiding his crotch and not being very clear. And Franklin and Crunk, that's not his name. What's his name? Runk. Runk, like immediately jumped to the conclusion that he's a pedophile, that he was being touched inappropriately.
Yeah. And they decide they get together in the woods, and Franklin says revolution, and everyone, all the kids go in on it. There's that one blonde kid, I don't remember his name, who's kind of like, not really super on board.
You mean Chris Wade, the curly-haired kid from that did all the cool stuff at the end?
I guess so.
Yeah, he was the one who was against the whole revolution thing, but didn't want to stop it. He was a kind of an accomplice, but not necessarily an active accomplice. He just kind of let it happen.
Yeah. So he ends up somewhere. He gets a gun. Franklin gets a gun. One kid had a knife the whole time. The punk kid just always had a knife on his side.
Well, he was a counselor in training, so he's supposed to be like he's more trusted. Hey, dude, I went to scout camp. I went to summer camp. You got to play with knives. It was the 80s and 90s, That would never happen now, of course.
I mean, I remember Scout had at least a little pocket knife, but this was a pretty big blade he had.
It was like a baby Rambo knife. It was like a mini Rambo.
But so they round up all the counselors and they lock them up. Even some reason the chef, which
is a counselor,
did not work out later for him.
Oh, of course not.
And they decided
they roasted a pig alive because they didn't he's gonna be dead and we can eat him anyway. Like, what? Really? You assholes! They don't know how to fucking prepare this shit.
But their camp was not enough. They also took over the girls' camp.
They freed the girls' camp.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. It's kind of... The movie right now has you on board for the revolution. You're thinking, yeah, kids are going to get to have their dance. This is going to be awesome. Right. Yeah. Nothing could go wrong. It's a foolproof plan.
It's kind of weird because it's still like instantly. Because at first it seems like the girls just think that everyone's okay with it. Like, oh, it's just a game and the counselors are in on it. But then as soon as they're at the party and it's like a spiked drink and the girl's just drunk and grinding on everybody, people should be like, wait a minute.
My God. This movie's PG-13 and this would be an R now. We're just going to put that in perspective right now.
Yeah, because the kids, they said shit and stuff. I mean, I guess now shit's okay.
There was sex. There was a rape. There was murder. There were underage drinking. I mean, like, there's...
Fair,
I know
though.
I just did a bunch of spoilers, but I'm just saying, like, this is a really dark movie.
To be fair, we did not see a rape. And we did not see any blood. So
fair, but I mean, if they would have just gone to rated, nowadays it would be classified at rated R, and they would go a little more hardcore anyway. But
yeah. So she's drunk. They're grinding on everybody. They're making out. They bring in the owner, and she grinds on him too.
It's hilariously awkward.
And Chris is like, "No, this is stupid. Stop it." And then he takes the tape off his mouth, and he's just like, "Sinners."
He does. I remember that.
And
I'm sinners with this fucker.
So Franklin makes the punk bring the guy back to the cabin, but the owner fights back, starts kicking him in the face. He pulls out that big knife we were mentioning, and the counselor ends up running onto it.
Like they're like struggling. He's fighting him off, like
because his hands are behind his back.
And he kicks Runk in the face. And Runk gets mad, pulls the knife just to like intimidate, and the other counselor's like flailing about and falls on the knife and subsequently dies nearly immediately.
Yeah, he freaks out, runs to Franklin, and Franklin's bring him to a cave and leave him there and don't say shit.
Oh God!
And he does, and they go about their partying, and
the next day rolls around.
Yeah, there's kind of just a lot of scenes of there's hints that they're having sex.
Yeah,
you see them come from a room and put their shirt on, and
they're doing the naughty. It's happening. Things are happening, folks. They are unattended young adults with raging hormones.
And this kind of leads into the scene where
there is no nudity, to be fair, either. There's no nudity.
There's
only one use of the word shit, which, by the way, Transformers also did use. So you get one shit. So,
well, they're more lenient nowadays. You can say like shit on TV. So
you can say we get one fuck now with like MPG-13, and you probably still only get. Well, I'm sure you can't say more than a few shits either. But
so it's pretty clear everyone's boning. But it cuts kind of. I don't remember this kid's name either. Remember Jean Jacket guy?
Jean Jacket
vest. He had like all jeans, jean on jean. He was the one that raped.
Oh right, that was that was Jason?
Jason
Stanley?
I don't know.
Wasn't Jerome? I can tell you that. I can pretty much tell you who Jerome was in this movie. Racist bastards. Fuck.
Yeah. He's out in the woods. Making out with a girl, and I made a joke about how long her skirt was so that nothing was going to happen, and of course she shoved him away and slapped him, so I was completely right. And so he decides, fuck it, I'm just going to do it, and he kind of throws her down and she screams, and at this time Duck and
the young girl,
he met a little girl
her name Trixie, I think's her name.
Yeah, they're kind of a couple, I guess you could say.
It's a summer romance. It's cute.
Yeah,
It's actually quite cute. In fact, it's
although It's great because they're out in the woods, like there's caves nearby. And they're like, "Ugh, what's that stink?" Because you think they're gonna find the dead owner, but instead they hear screaming. They run over. It's not even 30 seconds. They get there and he's just standing up like nothing happened.
Well, I think it's implied that some time has passed. Some rape has happened. Some rape time was skipped. Like it took them a while to run there, right? Like, but yeah, he's probably still a 2-pump chump because he's fucking stuck.
And you kind of think like, okay, it's gonna just keep escalating, but to my surprise, it turned into a trial.
What I thought was gonna happen was, he's gonna almost rape her, and then they get there and he's standing there with a big grimace, and you're like, oh shit, this movie just got dark. The way they tie him up and they put him on trial,
and they're like, what should we do? And the girl that was raped said, kill him.
Of course. I mean, I don't blame her. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But instead, Franklin says that he has to go out on this bridge hand over hand. And if he makes it back, everything's okay. And he succeeds. He goes out, climbs on the bridge, comes back, and everything's hunky-dory, and all the guys leave, but the girl's like, no, that shit ain't gonna fly. And they pick him up and carry him off, and then it cuts to the next day with you hear Duck. He did a lot of voiceover stuff, and he's just like, we never saw him again.
Oh my god. Okay, so the alternate title for this movie is called The Butterfly Revolution, which apparently this is based on a book called Butterfly Revolution by William Butler. That's interesting. Huh.
Did not know that.
Apparently the book's very good. Anyway, sorry, just got distracted. Beef bologna. Sorry.
Yeah. So he seems to be nowhere to be found. They're all back to partying and drinking, and like nothing happened. Later, Duck does run into him hanging in a tree.
Yeah, the girls carried him off and hung him. I mean, I can't blame them. He was a shitty rapist. I probably would have just castrated him, but that's just me.
So this is at the point where, because only 2 people know that the owner's dead. So that's why no one's kind of freaking out, really.
Right.
He freaks out, tells the leader what's going on. Nothing seems to really be going on too much. But at some point,
not fazed by it, yeah.
Yeah, Duck decides that he's going to make a call. He gets on the roof.
He wants to call the outside world to bring help in because everything's gone too far. Because it's gone too fucking far.
And they capture him. And I think beforehand he went looking for, I think you said his name was Chris. Because he doesn't want anything to do with it. He's with his girl out in a tent in the woods.
Yeah, Chris and his girl, like when the revolution happened, Chris and his girl noped the fuck out and said, you guys have fun, we're going to go live in the woods. And that's what they did. So, Ducky, and so he was out of the movie for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Ducky went and got him, and then Ducky got caught. And then
So he sneaks in to talk to Duck.
And Duck's being held prisoner because he's going to have to undergo the trial also. Yeah,
he's going to do the trial. And he mentioned something about a gate and a phone. And
so Ducky got caught trying to call the outside world from the camp counselor roof, the roof of the main building. So he got caught by everybody who's in the building. And he figured out that you can't call from there. You have to actually go to the front gate because the lines have been cut there. So he tells Chris that, and Chris goes, makes the call off screen without us for the most part.
So now it's time for the trial of Duck.
The trial of Duck. Nice.
Which is kind of weird. They put him on the bridge, and he's supposed to go hand over hand, but he's kind of walking across it with his feet on the bottom rope and his hands on the top. So Franklin makes the punk cut the rope, and he ends up swinging down, hanging on.
Chris arrives.
And a fight kind of breaks out with him and the punk. Punk pulls out a knife, gets his ass whooped, and monkey flipped over the bank.
Chris monkey flips him into the abyss, though apparently not far enough.
Yeah. And
apparently he survived that shit somehow.
That was enough for apparently half the kids, half the girls, and half the boys were not aboard of the revolution either, because they started just punching each other in the face.
Yeah, the supporters of the revolution started fighting the supporters of the returning to normalcy. So
yeah.
it was a big old brawl.
Franklin pulls out a gun like he's a tough guy and points at Chris. Chris freaking ninja kicks it out of his hand.
Fucking Chuck Norris kicks the shit out of that gun. Gone, bitch. No gun for you.
And then just beats the piss out of him.
Chris was the fucking badass in this movie. Chris is like a Deus Ex Machina. He's just like, hey, we don't know how to get out of this. Well, Chris has been out of the movie. Let's make him a karate guy. I'm like, all right, cool. There you go.
Yeah, like
Chris is badass.
As soon as the gun was gone, Franklin was nothing.
Yeah.
Beats him up, goes out, saves Duck. Cops pull in. There was that great cut where the black dude was just hammering a guy in the face, the guy with the beret in the face.
Beating the shit out of him, just pummeling him. Just fuck, man. He had it. He was done.
And then you get
he's over that shit.
You get a little scene with the cops listening to Duck. Duck was recording everything because he was a big nerd.
Yep.
So they were listening to his tapes. He wanted the tapes back, and the cops were like, yeah, maybe get out of here.
Fuck off.
It was kind of weird because technically all the kids were in on it. Like, nobody stopped anything. Like, it went on for probably a week or more. So they're all accomplices. But somehow they determined some of these kids are fine, and they just put them on a bus. And you get a little shot of Franklin in the back of the car, twirling the whistle with a creepy smile on his face.
Yep. Because he's rich and white, so he's going to get out of this no problem, you know.
Yeah. It really wasn't set up that he was rich and white, but they're like, your parents are returning from Europe. So
I was like, oh, shit, confirmed. I confirmed that shit thing. I'm like, I bet you it's because he's rich, white, and educated, so he's going to get out of this no problem.
Well, we don't know that. He was in the back of the cop car.
No, I'm just saying. I'm guessing. You know.
Just bored rich kid. I'm like, why not start a revolution?
Exactly. So, interesting. Chris, the badass, also played in a whole bunch of other movies, including Pennies from Heaven as, and I quote, minor role. That's the name of the role he was. He was also in, where was it? He's in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger. He was in Embrace the Vampire. Really? The fuck did he do in Embrace the Vampire? Where is Embrace the Vampire? Find. Oh, let's not spell it properly.
It'll figure it out.
There it is. Apparently he was Chris in Embrace of the Vampire.
Same character.
Hilarious. No, and unfortunately he died at 32.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
From what?
No idea. It doesn't say.
Hopefully not suicide.
Let's see here. He played 19 blah. He appeared in minor roles. He was very good. It doesn't say. I mean, I could just fucking Google it.
But is he well known enough that they'd be out there? That's the question.
Obituary. There we go.
They usually don't say in those, though.
All right, let's see here. Here we go. Harold Pruitt died Thursday, February 21st, 2002 of an accidental drug overdose. He is survived by his son, Tannen Pruitt, mother, Andre Pruitt, and father, Harold Pruitt Sr., and wife, Jennifer Cattell. Excuse me.
Damn. Shame.
Please send donations to Harold Pruitt Drug Abuse Foundation. So he had a drug problem. It's a shame. It ends a lot of young actors' careers, sadly. But yeah, that's a grim, dark note. Well, this movie, it's really interesting. The movie starts out like a comedy, and then by the end of it, it's super dark, and there's no humor anymore, and you're just like, oh, it's grim. It's pretty fantastic. I was floored because when I saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be terrible. You'll remember, I remember saying that looks terrible, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you had no interest, and then I was like, that's my pick.
And I was like, all right. And we watched it, and I will say it's the first real gem we found on this show. Like, honestly, I'd love to own this movie on Blu-ray or DVD. I'd be happy with DVD. Like, I wish this was something other than VHS, but now I need to get the VHS. So, it's the only way to own it, so I got to own it. Well, apparently there's a Laserdisc somewhere, too.
Yep. Because we watched it on YouTube, and it was a Laserdisc rip.
Yes. I was genuinely surprised with this movie. 3.5 out of 5 stars, like, honestly.
I agree with that.
It's a fantastic movie. It's recommended. I 2 thumbs up. I mean, like, geez.
Yeah, don't. I mean, the trailer sets it up like a horror movie.
It does. It really does.
It's not. Don't fall for that. I found it on a list of forgotten 80s summer camp horror movies.
It was not a horror movie.
No. I'm glad I found that list, though. So.
That list was awesome. Thank you, that list, whoever wrote that. Anyway, so yeah. And so we're on to our next feature. And then we'll cut there, obviously. So the next week we're going to watch just a little gem from the Full Moon Grindhouse collection called Necropolis. Here, I'll read the description for you.
God, it's full moon.
Yeah, I know. This is from the 1980s though, back when they were good. Lusty Anyway, Lusty Leanne Baker and Michael Conti take you down under. That's in quotes, by the way, to Necropolis, and an action-packed zombie thriller that makes Night of the Living Dead look like a slumber party. I call bullshit on that. The streets of New York are nothing like Eva remembers them. In those good old days, witches like Eva were roasted at the stake. But that was 300 years ago. If it wasn't for her indestructible magic ring, she would never have been reincarnated in her new life as a leather-clad, motorcycle-riding punkette. I have no idea. I bought this because I was collecting this line, and I figure I should use this show to watch this. So,
all right.
It's not going to be good.
I don't watch a lot of Full Moon, but the ones I've seen have all been fucking atrocious.
Oh, I love Full Moon up until about 1992. Basically, Puppet Master 5. Everything after Puppet Master 5 is not worth watching.
I didn't even care for Puppet Master.
Well, Puppet Master 2 is better than 1, to be honest. Like, the first Puppet Master is okay. Those actually, I like number 2 and number 4 a lot. But anyway, so there's a charm to Full Moon, and maybe it's not your thing. It's definitely my thing. But then again, everything's my thing, so. I love everything. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, God, I was just really surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised with Summer Camp Nightmare. So
yeah, go watch it. It's on YouTube.
Absolutely worth your time.
Not to.
Any final words for this week?
No, just go watch it right now.
Thank you for joining this week, folks. We'll see you next week, and tell us what you think when you finally see this movie, because you should check it out. It's worth it. Peace, guys. Stop the broadcast.